says they're 10 before the end. However, I'm someone who doesn't have a whole lot of time between working a 9 to 5, being a stay-at-home work from home mom. So I want to still do the trend because it's fun. However, we're going to make it a little bit different on my channel. It's going to be my 5 before the end of 2025. So these are just 5 books that I want to read before the end of 2025. I feel like that makes it a little realistic. I'm able to potentially achieve the goal of getting them. There's no way that even if I did read 10 books, that they would be the 10 books that I'm talking about in today's video. So just trying to make it a little bit more realistic goal for myself. Now, anyone who does the 10 before the end, I love it. I think it's so much fun to see what books people want to try to read before the end of the year. It's just 10 is not realistic for me. So I want to talk about the 5 books that I want to read before 2025 ends that I think I have a high chance of actually reading. The first 2 books are actually the 3rd and 4th book in a series, and that is the Emma M. Lyons series. We've got volume 3 and volume 4 here, and these are really short reads. They're under 200 pages each, so I feel like I could really get these read before the end of the year. I love this series so much. We're following Emma, who's very witty and whimsical and just hilarious, and her journey through having to deal with her cousin being just the absolute worst and losing her entire inheritance, spending it for her, and she's having to kind of rebuild her life a little bit. But it's just such a very cozy and funny little story. I love this series, so I'm hoping to finish this. There's 8 books out in the series right now, so getting halfway through the series would be really big for me before the end of the year, so I'm excited for that. I think all those books are also on Kindle Unlimited, but I have all the paperback copies. I love the covers, and they work so well together, and the colors are just really fun. And then we have One for My Enemy by Olivia Blake. Now I need to read this book this year because I feel like I need to read my first Olivia Blake book this year. This one is a Romeo and Juliet retelling and set in New York City. And I recently read Red City by Marie Lu, which was also, I believe, a Romeo and Juliet retelling set in the real world, and that was a 5-star for me. So I want to keep on that 5-star train. So I feel like this one could be really good for that. And Olivia Blake actually had a little blurb on the cover of Red City, so I feel like this is up my alley. I'm someone who loved Shakespeare in high school, and I really love reading his plays in class, and so I feel like this is going to be really interesting. And fun fact, I actually went to Verona when I was in Italy and actually got to visit the actual Romeo and Juliet setting. It was all set up in and stuff, so I got to see Juliet's balcony. I have like a little knick-knack from there of Juliet's balcony, so that was pretty cool. So yeah, you can see why I'd be excited to read something that's a Romeo and Juliet retelling. Excited for that one. And then I started this series last year, but this is the 2nd book in the Beartown trilogy by Frederick Bachman. This is Us Against You, and I really do want to read this. I feel like December is such a perfect time to pick up a hockey book. Now, these aren't hockey romances. It's very much literary fiction, and it's very much heavy and dark. And the first book just made me fall in love with his writing style, and so I really do want to finish this one in December. And then hopefully I can finish out the series next year. We'll see where we get, but I definitely want to try to get to this one as well. And the last book, which I think might be a bit more difficult to get to before the end of the year, but I'm really hopeful, is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I first discovered Kristen Hanna by watching the Netflix show Firefly Lane. I didn't know at the time that it was a book, but then I looked into it and found out that she had written the book for it. So I think I will read Firefly Lane at some point. I just don't know when. I feel like because I already know what happens in the show, I'm scared to read it again because the show was so heartbreaking. And I know everyone who's read the book before the show has said that the book is way better, which yeah, obviously. The show really hit me hard. I love that show so much. Like I said in one of my previous videos, this is a rite of passage into the Kristen Hanna universe. So I feel like this one is going to be really hard hitting, and I just feel like it would be the perfect first Kristen Hanna book to read. But I think I do want to get to this. I'm hoping to read this with my mom together so we can both talk about it a little bit, but I just feel like it's really time to pick this up. I don't know why, but it's just something about the covers just make me want to read it in December. So those are the 5 books that I want to read before 2025 ends. I feel like it's a realistic 5 books. Again, 2 of those books are both under 200 pages, so I feel like that kind of evens out with the length of the Kristen Hanna book. I do have a few other books that I'm planning on reading before the end of the year, but these are just the ones that I really do want to try to get to. They've been on my TBR for quite some time. Let me know what your 5 before the end of 2025 are, or if you're a little bit more ambitious than I am, your 10 before the end. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you want to keep up with my content, and I hope to see you in the next one.